Right, happy Tuesday everybody, we're getting straight into it. We're doing mobility, it's full body, and we're going to be working from the top down. Everything's getting hit, all the usual suspects. We're going to be spending a lot of time on the overhead mobility that we're trying to work on, and also a lot of hip mobility and lower body mobility. So stuff that's going to make you better at exercising, but it's also going to make you better at just life in general. Apologies for the background noise, we've got the aliens with us today, I'm sure you can hear them. Yeah, great. Right, so without further ado, we'll start off with the usual ones just to get you loosened off, just to free up a little bit of range, and then we'll start getting into the nitty-gritty of different areas. So first thing we're going to do this morning is the usual one where we're walking down and we're just going to stretch out all that posterior chain, okay? So my hips are going back. So take your time with this one. If you're just getting started in the day, you'll probably find you're pretty stiff. So all I want you to do is, rather than, I'll show you what not to do. And that's what I'm doing now, just holding that stretch in suspense, okay? What I need to be doing to get the most out of this is locking those knees out, chest up, trying to make that V. So if you are watching yourself on a camera, it's quite a good thing to look at, because you can see if you're arched, you can see where you're going wrong basically, and try to correct it. So a lot of the time people can get their legs straight, that's not a problem, but what they struggle with is getting that back straight. So what I want you to do is try and focus on extending the spine by forcing the chest up and then pushing the weight back. Push the weight back and up onto your heels. Good. So at this point we should be feeling a good stretch on the hamstrings, on the calves, back of the knee. You'll feel it in your glutes, your lower back even. You may even feel it on your upper back. It really just depends again on the individual. Now this is the point where I want you to take it a little bit further now. Okay, so I'm pushing that weight back. I'm trying to get the heels down. I'm trying to push my hips back and up, okay? And we're just going to hang about here for a bit and make the most of this stretch. So we're straight into it this morning. No farting about. Warming us up as we go. It won't take long to get warm, especially if you're uncomfortable. Last 20 seconds, I want you to really go for it now. Really push the weight back, really push the hips up. Okay, and all we're stretching out here is the posterior chain, all those muscles up the back of the body. Now I just want you to drop the hips down and just basically counteract what we've done and work the opposite end. So now we're stretching out the core, chest, neck. If you put the neck up, stretch out the front of that neck. I don't know if you were in the last mobility class, but remember I was telling you about the front of the neck. Those muscles, they often get forgotten about and they get pretty tight. If you do a lot of computer work sat at a desk, if you sit looking at your phone, looking down at your phone, or you even cycle a lot, if you cycle a lot, naturally your head will be not quite up so much. You're putting a lot of strain on these muscles. Good, and now I want you to come up. Good, and now I want you to walk the hands slowly towards the feet, and I want you to hang about down here for a bit now. So what am I doing here? My palms are flat on the floor, my feet are flat on the floor, and as you can see from side on, my knees are bent. What I want to try and do now is straighten those knees out, okay? Really feeling it now. I want you to tuck your chin in. And that's really going to bring the lower back into it now. So this is just a general, we'll just go straight into some full body stretches, ones that are just going to get rid of that initial stiffness, especially if it's first thing in the day for you, or maybe even last thing in the day. Good, and now I want you to get your hands, put them behind your ankles, and really pull yourself in, and lock those knees out. And as always, focus on your breathing, try and relax it, okay? Yes, it's tense, yes, we're taking ourselves out our comfort zone, but really go for it now. I want you to really go for it. It's down to you as the individual to really push these stretches, take them as far as you can, focus on your breathing, try and get that head, and it's a combination of feeling it in your hamstrings, but also feeling it here in your lower back. Good, and I want you to come up, and I want you to reach up. I want you to give a good reach. Fantastic, everyone. Now rest, shake it out, keep getting the water on board. In between each stretch, I'm just going to give you time to get a sip of water, like I'm doing now, and shaking it out, okay? Right, so we're on all fours, and we're going to go for the usual spinal flexion and extension, because again, we can't get enough of this one. And a lot of the time, it's an easy one to do, it's a simple one to do, but quite often or not, especially, you know, again, going back to being sat down or bad posture, we lose a lot of that mobility there, okay? And that's when you're doing things, when I'm trying to get you to lift things off the floor and you can't get your back straight because it's so tight. This is a good one for just freeing up that spinal movement. So we should be able to do that, no problem, but quite often or not, we lose that. So all I want you to do first of all is go into that spinal extension. So that's us just arching back. It's basically the one we just done on the floor. Good. It is quite fresh out there this morning if you're outside. I got caught out this morning, dressed for summer, felt like winter. Good, although I'm sure it won't take long warming up. In here it's getting pretty hot already. Good, because now I'm dressed for winter. Good, so we're extending here, okay? I want you to breathe and I want you, big breath in and then, okay, I'm just looking around so I can point you out and show you what you're doing and keep an eye on people that are doing it live as well. Good, so I'm really forcing that chest back and up, arching the back, good. Now we're going to go the other way, everyone. Now we're going to lift that spine up, lift the upper back up, pushing those hands in. Good. So this is nice and chilled this morning, as it always is. Don't turn up to a mobility class expecting to be absolutely buzzing after it. It's going to be slow paced. We're going to be holding these stretches for a long time. These initial ones not quite as long. We're just getting rid of that initial stiffness. So with this, I'm trying to force my arch and my back up, drive my hands into my ground, and spread those shoulder blades apart. Good. And now we're going to go back into that arch again. So as you're pulling that arch, pull your shoulder blades together. And again, lift that chin up. You're going to get more from it. You're going to get that neck in. And as all these stretches, I mean, if you've done a few of these now, you'll know what I'm saying. You know, I'm taking you to this point now. Explore it, you know, move your neck to the left, move your neck to the right, move it around different positions, okay? I'm just guiding you there. I want you to have the kind of what we're talking about here, initiative. Have the initiative to start moving around. If you're feeling it, oh, wait a minute, that's quite tight. Go there, explore it, make the most of it. Good, and one more arch up. So please, you know, although all this morning is, a lot of it for the most part is static stretching, we're taking it to a point and holding. If you just move a little to the left or a little to the right and you're further enhancing that stretch, then do that, please. Okay, I keep saying that every class, I keep repeating myself, but I feel it's worth it, because a lot of the time with these stretches, relax there, with these stretches a lot of the time, so back up on your feet. A lot of the time with these stretches, people just take it to a point. They're like, oh, yeah, I can feel that, that feels nice. And then they just hang about there for ages and not actually consciously thinking or trying to get something from it. So on that note, we're going to start with the neck. So that's the kind of initial done. You should feel a little bit kind of like you've freed up a bit of movement already. So we're going to be able to take these stretches a little bit further. So we're starting with the neck, okay? Now the neck is very much an individual thing. In terms of where you're feeling tightness, it depends on your job, form, posture, etc., where you're feeling it. So please, this is the one where I'm going to take you to a point, and it's up to you to maybe move it to the forward, move it back, wherever you're feeling it tight. For me personally, I usually get a bit of tightness here, just at the back of the neck on both sides, and then again at the front. So that's where we're going to be guiding you towards, okay? But again, if you're feeling it more, if you move your neck a certain other way, move it the other way, okay? So neck, hand. Hands going up behind, okay? So you can see that, my hand's up behind. And now all I'm doing here is keeping this shoulder, this is important. Keep that shoulder in the joint. Don't put your arm up behind and then be like this, okay? If it's like that, bring it down a little bit. Now all I'm going to do is go against it, go away from it. So I'm crossing them away. Good, I hope you can see that okay. So what I'm stretching out here, I'm just going to the side, I'm just going laterally to the side, and I'm stretching this area out here, okay? Now with your own neck muscles, you can take that quite far. Remember, we're focusing on keeping that shoulder blade and shoulder joint pinned into position while I'm stretching that. With my own neck muscles, I can get a pretty good stretch like I am now, but it's not good enough. We're developing, we're wanting to be better, so I'm getting that hand up, putting it on the top of my head, and I'm very carefully applying a little bit more of a stretch, but be careful, because a lot of the time when people grab their head, all they do then is starting to tilt their body. Your body should not be tilted at all. You should be stood up the same way you were when your head was straight, the only difference being your neck's getting stretched, so be careful of that, okay, because all you're doing there is pulling your body, you're not getting a better stretch. So apply more and more, pull that head down more and more, keep that shoulder blade pinned until you're feeling it's, you know this one by now, discomfort and pain, two different things. We're not promoting pain. We don't want to associate stretching with pain. Good, because then we just dread doing it. But be careful as well. We don't want shooting pains. We don't want numb, burning, you know, anything like that. Pins and needles, that's us starting to bother our nerves. We don't want to start farting about there. So if you take it to that point, you feel any of those things, just ease out. So for the last 30 seconds, take it a little bit further. Good, and for here, you can try maybe, if you move the neck forward a little bit, you might enhance the stretch further, if you can see what I'm doing. Okay, I can enhance that further. I'm taking a shift onto where I can feel it stiffer, but again, you and I are two different people. So you might not. Okay, and now we're going to slowly, very slowly ease out. Whoa, good. So again, you might not feel much from that, but a lot of people, they walk around tense, they walk about stressed, and without realising it, they're like this, relax. Oh, so I am. I didn't realise I was like that. Quite often or not, you can see people coming in, oh, you know, this has happened, this has happened. So try and focus. A lot of people get a lot of kind of tension up in their shoulders. Again, those tension headaches we get where we feel everything's pulling down. If you are feeling it, don't forget these muscles here, okay? Because these are quite often the ones that can be the cause of it, even though it feels like it's up the back of your neck, so bear that in mind. Opposite side now, exactly the same. I'm across and I'm up. Okay, now the purpose of that is by doing that, I'm already stretching that out before I even start stretching it. So I'm going to get a much better stretch. That's why I'm putting the arm up the back, okay? So do not put your arm all the way up your back if you don't have that mobility in the shoulder, because then you'll be like this. Okay, so I'm standing tall, I'm standing proud, and then I'm getting that stretch. So for the first part, I can take it to pretty much a good stretch with just the muscles in my neck and the weight of my big head. I've got a big head, so I can, you know, I've got a good bit of counterbalance here with this thing. So all I'm doing here is just stretching this out here, going for the upper traps, upper trapezius. Again, a lot of people hold a lot of tension up here, then they don't even realise it. Good, so I'm holding it there. I'm trying to take it further. Of course I am with all these stretches. We take it to a point, focus on your breathing. Of course I'm talking, but you aren't. You're, I want you to just focus on that breathing throughout, and that's going to help your muscles relax. Then all of a sudden you'll be like, oh, this isn't really stretching anymore, so I can take it a little bit further with my hand now. I'm pulling it. Okay, so get that hand up there and just gently start applying a bit of tension. But again, that shoulder's fixed in position, my body's fixed in position. I am not pulling myself over, okay? Good. Fantastic, everyone. Okay. So we will be spending a bit more time on the upper body, because the last mobility one we done, we spent more time on lower. It's always going to be full because we can fit the full body into an hour, but we will be focusing on different key areas each time. But always the same main areas you'll notice, and it's always the main areas in which we need work. Right, 20 seconds, take it as far as you can now. This is it. Try and relax the shoulder, relax the muscles. Again, I'm talking, but you're breathing, relax, and that's going to help that muscle relax, which is going to let you take it a little bit further. And again, all we're doing here is just training that brain, training that nervous system, relax. Training that nervous system. As you take your muscle to a range of, as you take it to its full range, it's going to start going under, it's going to start contracting. So for example, the best one is this. You try and throw your arms behind your body. You can't make them go like that. You can't dislocate your shoulders. Your muscles contract before that happens. Now, if you don't go into these ranges very often, that'll happen at a much shorter range, okay? So all we're doing here is trying to teach our body that it's okay to go a little bit further, but your brain's trying to protect you from dislocating your shoulders here. So it's telling you, whoa, no, we're going to contract and we're going to fight this one. But you've just got to gently persuade it that it's okay just to go that few more inches. When it's convinced, it'll be able to go a little bit further, but we have to stay on top of it, otherwise we start regressing. That's that in a very simple form, okay? That's all we're trying to do here, and that's why it's important that if you just take it to a point where it's getting a stretch, all you're doing is maintaining, but we're trying to take it out our comfort zone, take it that couple inches more than it really wants to, carefully though, and that's going to develop our range of movement and develop our stretching ability a little bit, okay? Right, anyway, where are we at? Lying to right, this is one if you, who have we got online? Most of these are inside, so that's better. If you're outside, I'm sure you'll be able to make do with a post or pillar or something. Don't worry if you have to walk away from the camera, I hope you can see me. So the one we done the other time, we were lying on the body and lying on our side and stretching the chest out, this area here, we're going to do it, but we're going to do it against a wall today, okay? So this is where you have to play around with the angle. For me, I'm going to have my hand at roughly 45 degrees to my body. As you can see, I've not just got it straight up, 45 roughly degrees. And now all I'm doing, again, important that I keep this shoulder blade in its socket, okay? Keep the shoulder joint in its socket, sorry, don't start letting it shrug. And all I'm doing is just turning away from it. Okay, but I'm staying tall and I'm staying proud. What I'm not doing is starting to hunch. Okay, so I'm standing up tall, I'm standing up proud, and I'm just using that wall purely as an anchor for my hand. Okay, any wall will do, flat wall. I mean, I'm not talking, yes, I'm in a door frame, but it's because it's the nearest thing I've got. Okay, it doesn't matter what, but I want you to take it to a point. And again, where you feel the stretch is an individual thing. We should be feeling it predominantly here, across the pecs and into the shoulder joint, but it must be relaxed. You may feel it if your biceps are tight, if your forearm's tight, you might feel it straight all the way down that arm, okay? So we're all different, but that's what we're all stretching out here, and what you can start to do is look away from it, and you'll start to bring the traps into it again. So again, I've given you the stretch, it's yours to do what you will with it, okay? I've taken you into that initial place, you might be able to enhance it better. You might be able to bring more into it. Okay, so all I'm going a little bit further now, I'm really going for it, and now personally, I'm really feeling it right in here. Okay, so if you're pretty tight in the chest, pretty tight in the shoulder, then you'll feel it. You'll also maybe feel it in the biceps as well, depending how you've got your hand anchored. Good. Well done, everyone. So again, with this stretching, it's not the most exciting thing in the world. All I can do is try and amuse me with my interesting chat. Which isn't very interesting today. I'm running out of things to talk about. There's not enough stimulus going on in my life, so I'm not getting out in the world anymore. Good, it's just Groundhog Day. But then that can be exciting too, can't it? So again, last 30 seconds here, I want you to take it as far as you can. Okay, consciously try and take it further. Now I'm really feeling it. Okay, now I'm really feeling it. You can probably hear it in my voice. But I am trying to relax here. I'm trying to relax. Good, and I want you to ease out slowly. Shake it out. Right, how are we feeling with that one? I'm just coming up to the camera so you can hear and see me better. Are we feeling that? So where you feel that is down to you. Ultimately, we're trying to target here. Okay, you probably felt it here. And again, that's a big range that's responsible for your overhead. So a lot of people lack this. See what I'm doing with my arms? They can't get that range. If they can't get that range because of that tightness, when they try and press up over their head, they end up pressing a bar straight up over here instead of here. Okay, that's the difference. So you end up looking like this. The zombie arms come out. Okay, so that's important. That's our chest. We can still get tightness in here, which we're going to address. So you may well, I felt it there down my biceps, down my forearm as well. It just depends again where you're tight. So we're going to do the same stretch on the different side this time. So I'm going to have my back to you a little bit. So again, play around with the angle. Play around with the angle when you're setting up here. Okay, so you might have it at 90 degrees and feel a better stretch, but you probably put a lot of strain on that shoulder joint, so just be careful. 45 degrees is the best, in my opinion. Anchor that hand. If you're on a flat wall, that's fine. If you're in a door frame, you can anchor it a bit better. But again, play around with it here. And now I'm just twisting my body, keeping that shoulder blade, remember. That shoulder blade and that shoulder joint is relaxed and staying in the joint, okay? I'm not shrugging it, and I'm just tilting my body away from it. Focus on that breathing and just get that initial stretch in. Good. Again, with the neck, you can enhance this stretch with the neck. you can start to tilt away from it as long as you're not bringing any pain into it. Good, making sure we're staying up tall, you're not starting to arch forward. We're trying to further enhance that stretch, okay? So let's get into it a little bit further, a couple more inches, maybe even millimeters. As long as you're constantly applying more pressure, more tension, trying to increase the range, don't ease out and in. Keep it on there. We need to hold these stretches for a good 2 minutes at least for them to be worthwhile. Remember, we're trying to sink into our brain that it's okay. Good, if you're just holding it for 30 seconds, that's not going to happen. It'll make you feel good for a minute or two, but we're not really doing any long-term benefits, so that's why I keep saying these mobility classes are slow paced. We're holding these stretches 2 to 3 minutes. That's why I get some nice music on. Chill out, put something on, listen to the birds singing if you're outside. Good, now I'm taking it even further, everybody. Now I'm really going for it, the last bit of stretch now. This is your chance, this is your developmental phase. Take it to the point it's uncomfortable. Good. And I want you to slowly, very, very, very slowly, ease out of there. So, shake it out, and again, it's perfectly normal to feel a bit of, oh, okay? For me, in that elbow joint, it's pretty tight, I won't lie, from training. So I'm feeling it in there from both sides. That was a good stretch for me. And I feel when you throw those arms back, do your classic dynamic stretch for the chest, you'll maybe feel the range is a bit better, okay? Right, next up, we're throwing in our tricep stretch, and we're going to bring in a bit of lats with it as well. So tricep stretch, it's a classic stretch. We'll just up like so. I'll show you from the back. Okay, so again, try and keep that shoulder joint in. It's behind my neck, and all I'm doing is getting that hand up, okay? I've tucked myself in, tucked myself in like an old man this morning. So I'm up and across, okay? And now all I'm doing is using that hand that's on top to push the tricep down, to push the elbow down. So this hand here is pushing down, it's pulling that elbow down, okay? So again, I'm stood up tall, I'm stood up proud, and from the rear it looks like this. Don't sink forwards, okay? And don't start leaning to the side. Now I'm fidgeting around, I'm moving around purely just to show you different stretches, but straight away, where are we feeling it? We should be feeling it here, okay? The triceps. If you've been doing a few of these classes, we've been spending a lot of time smashing them out. Good. So again, take the stretch as far as you can, play around with it. You might have to move your hand further down. Okay, I've got my hand just below my elbow. Whatever works for you, whatever works to enhance that stretch further. Okay, now what you can do to enhance it is to imagine you're stood nose to nose, nose to nose, nose to a wall, right in front of you so you can't start to lean forward. And I'm just going across my body a little bit here, okay? Fantastic. But we don't want to go too far. Don't go too far. Don't want to turn it into a stress position too much. We want to keep that on the tricep. Good, and I'm just taking it to the point in which I'm really feeling it. So focus as well. If you put your elbow back, try and pull your elbow back a bit, you might enhance the stretch further. So that's what I mean. Have that initiative. Good. A little bit further. Good, and then we're going to slowly ease out. Fantastic, and shake it out, okay? So that gets tight, and if that gets tight, you know, the elbow's not going to move freely. Same with the bicep, they're both joining onto that elbow. So if you've got pain in your elbow, it could be your triceps are tight, could be the biceps, or it could be the forearms, which we're going to attack next. Right, next side, okay? We're arms up. Let's get the next side in, straight away. Yep, I'm feeling that already. Again, these past few circuits we've been doing, if you've been doing them, we've been doing a lot of time on our arms. So I can feel a bit of stiffness in there, a bit of tightness and a bit of tenderness. Okay, so I'm just holding that above. I'm just focusing on my breathing. Good. That's it. And just try and relax it out. Good. So I'm focusing on my breathing. Good. Keeping it on the tricep, again, play around with the elbow position. If you pull it back a little bit, pull the shoulder blades together, you're probably going to stretch that tricep out a little bit more because you may consciously consciously, subconsciously be pulling yourself forward like that, okay? Start to add a bit of a lean into it now, take it a little bit further. Good. Good, and keep that tension on the tricep, try and enhance it any way you can. Good. Well done everyone, let's ease out of that one. Good, shake it out, walk around, get some water on board, and then we'll get into the forearms, the horror that is the forearms. Good. Right, the forearm one. Might as well get on the knees for this one. This can be pretty uncomfortable. So all I'll say is, it is uncomfortable, but again, know the difference between pain and discomfort. It's going to be horrible for a lot of people. It's not a range we do very often with our wrists, but without realising it, those wrists get pretty knotted up tight as well. So if you've got if your watch is too tight, you might have to loosen it on this one or slide it up your wrist a little bit. So all I'm doing is I'm basically reversing my palms away from me, towards me. So I'm sure you can see that from where you're at. Okay, so straight away you might feel that. It feels a bit weird. You might not be very happy in that position, but suck it up and get on with it. Right, so all I'm doing, fingertips are squeezed together, and just make sure that you have actually got that proper rotation. So I'm sure you can see from the camera angle, my fingertips are pointing towards my knee, directly towards my knee. Okay, now all I want you to do is just carefully start maintaining, keeping that full palm on the ground, keeping the fingers straight, is just start tilting back the way, okay? So I'm going to show you from the side what I'm doing. So palms are flat, fingertips are straight, and all I'm doing is just coming back, okay? I'm going back the way, but it's important, don't let your palms come off. If you start to feel your palms coming off or it's very hellishly uncomfortable, pause, relax. Hang out there for a bit until it eases off, but focus on that breathing, remember. So, yeah, you can see what I'm doing. Good. So you can do this stretch with your hands out in front of you, but without that ground as an anchor, you don't quite get the same stretch. You can't quite take it as far. Good. Right, so now I'm just shifting my weight back because I'm starting to feel that loosen off a little bit so that I can get back even more. Aye. Okay, now we're feeling it. Good, so it's a pretty uncomfortable one here, okay? It's uncomfortable, but again, discomfort, suck it up and get on with it. Pain, know the difference. Okay, now this is uncomfortable. So anybody that might do, I don't know, this range is very important. If you're doing the likes of circuit training, for example, or you're doing a lot of maybe Olympic weightlifting, I know not a lot of people do, but for example, circuit training, you're grabbing a bar, you're doing squat thrusters, you're trying to squat with a bar at your collarbones. You need a good range in these wrists to be able to do that. If you don't, you'll feel it very painful, probably like you are now. Take it a little bit further. Or you'll not grip the bar properly, okay? But that's a lesson for another day. But this range is very important. If you sit at a computer desk, again, I'm always going back to these same things. And rest assured, I'm sat at a desk pretty much all day now. So I'm certainly not going to sit here and be a hypocrite. But you'll find a lot of this range we lose. Right, okay, I want you to slowly ease out of this. Now, when I say slowly, be slow, because it's probably going to be pretty uncomfortable. When you do, you need to let that blood flow again. Okay, so I'm easing out and just open and shut the fingertips and shake it out. And I can see from you doing it live that yep, you enjoyed that one. I can see your faces. So yep, it feels weird. Get a drink of water on board and let's get into the ones that are going to make us get pretty uncomfortable. Okay, so now I'm sitting down. So the last 15 minutes we'll just spend all the time working on these hips, on the key areas that we're going to be struggling with. First one, we're going to loosen out that lower back, the hips as well. Again, it depends where you're feeling it. So all I'm doing, I'm lying down. I hope you can see me. I'm getting the feet as close to the bum as I can and the toes are pointing up. And all I want you to do just initially is just do side to side, the classic one we usually do to warm up before exercise or first thing in the morning. Keep those knees squeezed and try and get that knee down to the floor. Good. And that's just, again, all we're doing there is getting rid of that initial tightness. So do a few of them, and then what I want you to do now is go to the side, and I'm going to talk you through it in stages. So go to any side, it doesn't matter. We've gotten that far. Now I want you to get the leg that's on top, straighten it out. I want you to grab the arm, grab that leg, pull it down and pull it up towards the floor. Okay, so straight away, you're probably feeling it here, or you should feel it here, okay, right on that hip capsule, bringing the glute into it as well. Now what I am doing, the opposite shoulder, I'm going to pin it to the ground and I'm going to twist my body away from it. So I'm pulling that leg down and up. The leg below, doesn't matter what you do with it, move it around. You know, if you slide it away from underneath, you'll probably get a better stretch. That arm, it doesn't matter what you're doing with this arm as long as the shoulder blade's pinned to the floor. And twist away from it. Focusing on relaxing so that we're getting it right in here. That's where we should be feeling this. Now we take it to a point that's uncomfortable. We hold it. It loosens off a little bit with some deep breathing. And we take it further. We further enhance it. You need to play around with this one yourself. Bring the leg higher up. Pull it towards the ground, twist your body away from it, okay? But make sure, the most important thing I can tell you is make sure this is relaxed. This hip, the hip, this hip. Those hips are relaxed, okay? If the hips aren't relaxed and you'll tense up against it, you're not going to get the same stretch here, so relax and twist away, making sure that opposite shoulder joint is pinned to that floor, please. Okay, good. 10 seconds, take it as hard, as fast as you can. Fast, it's not fast. Not fast. Take it to the little bit. Excuse me. Good. Right, we're changing sides now. So I hope everybody's feeling that. We're going to change sides. So again, you have to consciously think about relaxing those hips, because you'll find if it is straining, if it is a lot of tension in there, you'll be tensing up against it too much. So all I'm doing now is I'm going the other way. I'm across the body, and this shoulder here is getting pinned to that floor. That head is tilting away, and all I'm doing is straightening out that top leg. Straight away I can feel that. Grab the leg, doesn't matter where, probably better to grab the thigh as opposed to the actual knee joint, because you'll end up pulling a tendon or something that's uncomfortable. And then that bottom leg, do what you want with it, but if you slide it from underneath, it'll just give you a bit more freedom to pull that leg down. Okay, so this is where you have to play around with the position. I'm twisting my body away, I'm getting that shoulder joint sunk to the floor and pinned, and I'm pulling that leg down and up and across. Okay, so play around with your hand position as well, move it further down. Does that enhance the stretch? Yes. Do it. If not, go back. But most importantly, relax. Okay, so what we're getting here, we're getting the glutes, they're definitely getting whacked. This hip capsule's getting a good bit of a stretch, but also lower back, the QL muscles, those big thick muscles that run up the side of your spine, those ones that are at the bottom there, where we feel a lot of pressure and a lot of tightness when we're sat down. They should be getting attacked now. If they're not too tight, you might not feel them, but if they're severely tight or your lower back feels tight, then this is a great stretch for you. Right, 10 seconds, take it as far as you can. And slowly, ever so slowly, easing out. Oh, good. So I hope you feel that. I hope you're getting the benefit from that one. Good. Right. Quick drink again. Walk it out, shake it out if you like. Good. And now we're going to get into the glutes. So we're kind of going on that area and developing on it. So now we're going to actually get the butt proper involved. So again, variations. I'm going to show you not the hardcore, but I'm going to show you variation 1, which is the hardest one, which is what you're going to get the most from. If you get knee pain, it's as simple as don't lift the hip off the floor. Just go for this stretch here, okay? But we're doing the 90 degree one. But the more advanced amongst you, or those who do not get knee pain, should I say, I want you to get up on top of it. So see how I've now slipped that leg behind me? okay? So let me show you from the side because it's kind of hard. I've got that leg out 90 degrees in front of me. I'm getting that body up behind it, and now I'm pinning that foot to the floor, and all I'm doing is manoeuvring my body around so that I'm up on top. I'm up on top. You can see what I'm doing from there. I'm up on top of it, okay? Foot pinned, because if you're pretty tight, that foot's going to start sliding down, okay? So if you're in that position, hold it. If you're not, let me show you from the front. My leg's at 90 degrees, okay? I'm getting that leg behind me straight. I'm getting my body up on top of it, like so. And all I'm doing is pinning it down to the floor and maneuver your body around until you're starting to feel here, okay? Until we're starting to get that butt, those glute muscles stretched out. Now, if it's severely tight, which chances are it is on this stretch, you really have to focus on relaxing, okay? So breathe, relax, and start to sink and lower your weight down onto that hip, okay? We're not over to the side, we're up on top of it. Now it's important, if you're not feeling it or you're getting a lot of strain on your knee, just watch. You need to have that foot at 90 degrees, that lower leg at 90 degrees. Otherwise, if it's severely tight, it will start to go in the way and you're not getting the stretch. So if you're not getting the stretch, should I say, make sure that foot is where mine is. If it's away back behind you like this, you're not going to feel it, you're just going to feel pressure on your kneecap, okay? So make sure that leg is out in front of you. That's why we have to pin it, because if you're tight, it's going to just slide away from you. So I'm up on top of it. Now what am I doing? This here, my hip, I'm trying to push down on that hip joint with my body weight, but that's uncomfortable, okay? If it is uncomfortable and you're just getting out of the stretch because it's uncomfortable, get on with it. If it's painful, as in causing your knee pain, go back to the first version I showed you where your hips are actually on the floor, okay? Now with your arms, you can get them down. Oft. Now, I'm really getting pressure on that glute. Now I'm really stretching it out here, okay? But again, do not let that foot start to slide down towards your body. So what am I focusing the forces? I'm trying to push that hip bone down. Okay, I should be feeling this on my glutes, the outside of the hip itself even. Good work. Okay, I'm going to slowly ease out. I hope you feel that stretch. If you're only just getting into it, stay where you are. Okay, if you were farting about, hold it for a little bit longer if you like. So again, if you weren't sure what I was doing, let me show you. And I can tell you now, one side's always, my right leg is always a lot tighter than my left, so you're going to see a big difference on this one if you're watching me. That's why it's very important now. So with this side being so tight, it's important that we pin that ankle down. If you're getting up on top of it, if you watch my foot, if you watch my lower leg, if you get up on top of it and you're pretty tight, see how that leg starts to slide back and then you end up doing something like this. Look at my lower leg, my foot's pretty much in at my groin. That's wrong. Okay, you're not going to get the stretch properly. We need it out 90 degrees to the knee and getting on top of it. So straight away, because that side's tighter, I'm already feeling it. Okay, I'm trying to get the knee on the floor, I'm trying to keep my ankle on the floor, and I'm already feeling that already is quite a hefty of a stretch. That back leg's straight. Now I'm just trying to work my body down. So again, you need to maneuver your body around, you need to maneuver yourself a little bit to get the best out of this stretch. But I'm always trying to keep that leg 90 degrees as best I can, and if it's stiff, it's going to be a fight. And I'm just trying to lower the weight down onto it now. Okay, so if you can already, get onto the elbows, get you more weight on top of it. And again, I'm just trying my best to push that hip, those glutes towards the floor. And it's pretty, it can be a pretty horrible one. The more you do it, the better it gets. But a lot of people don't do it because it's horrible. But the thing is, if you never do it, it's always going to be horrible. Good, so I'm trying to get on top of it now. I'm really going for it, okay? We're holding this for a good 30 seconds now. And I want you to really focus on enhancing that stretch on the glutes. So make sure you're relaxing. Don't ease in and out of it because it's uncomfortable. Okay, remember what it says. We're trying to teach the brain that it's okay to go this way. And again, move around, drop to an elbow, drop to two elbows, whatever's enhancing that stretch further for you. Don't just hang out there at the same position for 2 minutes and think it's going to be good. Good. And I want you to slowly, ease out of that, stand up, let the blood flow, okay? And then just shake everything out. Fantastic. Right, we've got one more area to cover this morning, and that's the groin, okay? We're always going to be doing the groin, we're always going to be doing the glutes, lower back always, okay? We're always going to be doing these stretches. So the groin one, there is no better one than the, I don't even know the name of it, but we're going to do it. The big step forward one. I need to start naming these. I'm sure people are like, that's the warrior one. I don't know what it is. So my foot's out in front of me, big prominent lunge, okay? This is the single leg squat variation. We're getting the hands next to the foot, okay? And all I'm doing here is replicating being at the bottom of a squat with one leg. That leg there is at the bottom of a squat right now. I'm forcing that chest up and I'm pushing those hips down, and I'm going to hang about here for a little bit because I'm feeling a stretch. So again, don't move, I'm just moving to show you. All I'm doing, big prominent step forward, hands are pinned to the floor next to my foot, and all I'm doing now is forcing that chest up. These hips are going down, and I'm feeling the stretch right in at my groin, okay? Now I'm forcing the chest up. I'm hanging about here for a bit. This is going to be a long stretch, okay? We're going to be moving into different angles. We know this stretch, if you've done it a few times, you know where we're going to be going with it. Don't ease out of it. You're going to get a hell of a lot of benefit from this one, okay? A hell of a lot. It's going to improve your squats, big time. Okay, so think of that. If your squats are crap, let's get better at them. This is how we do it. Force the chest up right now. What I want you to do is keep that knee in position. Okay, don't let it start to come towards you. Keep pulling it apart, keep driving the toes into the ground. I want you to start twisting the body away, but still driving the hips down, okay? If you just twist away and start to do what I'm doing now, you're not getting anything. You're staying in this position's fixed, knees pulled apart. I'm twisting away slowly, but I'm still pushing those hips towards the ground. Don't let those hips come up. Twist your body away from the knee, and you're going to further enhance that stretch in the glutes, so not the glutes, the groin. So we should feel, by going this way, we're further enhancing the stretch, okay? So all I'm doing, I'm trying to fix those hips down. I'm trying to twist the body away, drive those toes into the ground. Good. And then I'm going to come back slowly. If you want to hang out there for a little bit, please do. If you're feeling it severely tight on that side, go for it. I'm coming towards it now, and what I want you to do is drop the elbow. Okay, we're still fixed, still got the tension. All I'm doing with this is enhancing it on different areas. Okay, so at no point during that transition did I ease out. And all I'm doing now is I'm taking it even further, and now it's pretty horrible. So you can see I've dropped down, knees not changed position. Okay, my hips are getting pushed down, and all I'm trying to do now is pull my body towards my foot, towards my ankle. Okay, so stick with us. It's a horror, or it can be, just depends. But we've been doing this a lot now, so hopefully each time you do this, you're thinking, God, this is getting a bit better, I can go a little bit further. Okay, now I want you to slowly come back to the middle. Okay, we're feeling that. Feel we get a good bit of movement around on that one. Good, and now I want you to slowly ease out. Good, and I want you to stand up, and you'll probably feel lopsided a little bit because one side is now nice and loose and supple, and that side is now still tight. Okay, so you can feel the difference, hopefully. You can feel that difference. Right, we're going to change legs. We're going to do it, and this is the last stretch we're going to do today. So this is my favourite one, I think, because I think you get a lot from it, as in a lot of transferable towards your squats, etc. Because a lot of people get a lot of tightness in here, and that's affecting their squat depth, okay? Obviously ankles, we talked about ankles in the last mobility session, they're huge on your squats. Why I'm always referring to squats, it's not that I'm obsessed. I'm not obsessed with squats, it's not that I love squats. It's just when someone comes through my door, the first thing I'll always get them to do is squat, okay? Squat, just body weight squats, because it says a lot about your body. It says a lot about where your mobility is, where your flexibility is at, before we even start thinking about doing any weight training. So I'll always get people to squat because it shows everything. It shows everything. Then fix those areas first. And again, it doesn't matter if you're not a squatter, if you don't squat, if you don't plan on squatting, but fixing these areas that affect your squat, you're going to make your life a lot better in terms of a lot of people will be suffering lower back. they come in, get them to squat. Right, I can see what the hell's wrong there. You're severely tight in here, that's all jammed up. Start doing this, start doing that. God, I've had a sore back for 2 years and now it's better. You know, people are very quick to start buying fancy chairs or fancy cushions or stuff for the lower back, when in actual fact, like I keep saying a lot of the time, I'm not just referring to your lower back here, everything just needs strengthening, just needs loosening off a little bit, rather than just being compensated for years and years. Okay, so again, the lifestyles we live nowadays, we spend a lot of time sat down regardless of who you are or what occupation you're in. We still sit down too much. And again, I'm not being a hypocrite, I do too. So all I'm going to do is move away and keep pushing those hips down. So this is where this one can feel a little bit uncomfortable. So just take care. Push those hips down and away. Good. So I'm just saying that because, yes, I do say that, yep, today's going to be a squat and deadlift overhaul day. Not today, the last one. But it doesn't mean you have to be doing those exercises to get the benefit, because we're targeting all those areas, again, that I would be looking to improve people on before even thinking about adding any weight to any bars or anything. Because you'll just make your quality of life better, you'll perform better as well. I mean, hopefully, if you're doing these movements regular, you don't need to, like I say, I don't do an hour's mobility work at all until now. Usually I'll just pick the areas that I know that I need work on, my glutes, my groin. I think those are all in your ankles, your shoulders. These are always areas you're constantly trying to fight. And I'll just throw a few of them in before I start training. 10, 15 minutes, that's my mobility work done. All part of my training session as well, so that way I'm not doing, you know, oh, I'll train this morning, then I'll do mobility tonight, and then tonight comes and I can't be arsed. Right, we're moving towards here. Drop that elbow down. Good. So yep, don't feel you have to do this routine all the time. Otherwise, if you don't do it, it's pointless. Pick a few. You know the areas. Hopefully, if you've done a few of these now, you're starting to know your body a bit better. You're starting to know the areas in which you need work on. Just pick a few of these and throw them in randomly. Even jump off the sofa one night for 2 minutes and chuck yourself into this, okay? That's an extra bit of benefit that you wouldn't have normally done. Good, back to the middle, hips down, chest up. Good, and now I just want you to slowly, very slowly, walk out of that one, stand up. Good. And just shake it out, good. And try some squats now. You'll probably feel that going down, you know, you might be sore, you might be tender, but range of movement should be a lot better in that groin. As you're squatting down, you're keeping your full foot flat, your full foot is flat on the floor, drive the toes into the ground. As I start to squat, my knees are getting pulled apart, but my feet are fixed, and by pulling my knees apart, I'm starting to stretch out this area. So if you don't have good range in that area, that's when you're going to start getting bothered with your knees starting to either cave in, or as you go down, you can't pull the knees apart anymore, so you start to round your back a little bit. So by being able to have good range in my groin, we can open up a lot more depth in my squat without affecting the movement of our hips. Hope you enjoyed this morning. That's full body with a lot more emphasis on up top this morning.